Got my bloodshot shirt on. Look at that. Boom. Oh yeah.
I went with a more Valiant universe as a whole approach to my
Yeah. Mine's better.
evening wear.
Mine's better. Mine's more focused. Like, you know.
Maybe, maybe
Yeah.
we'll see, man. We'll see.
Speaking of bloodshot, that guy right there. Uh
He's he's right here on my shirt. He's
yeah.
very little on my shirt.
Yeah. Hence the lack of coolness of your shirt. Hey, Tor's giving me shit on my beard. What's wrong with my beard? My beard's all right. Oh, no, but Bloodshot, right? Vin Diesel, right? Huh?
Yeah. So I remember that for they kept saying that they were in talks with Vin Diesel to be Bloodshot, and then all of a sudden it's just, hey, we're filming, and it's Vin Diesel. So I guess does that mean that he signed on, or does it just mean like, hey, we're hoping he signs on, and we're also hoping that the ninth fucking Fast and the Furious movie doesn't film at the same time?
Well, who actually announced this whole filming thing? Because it's not like Valiant is like, oh, we're filming.
Yeah, no, they haven't said anything. This was a story that was on CBR, Comic Book Resources, and I want to say it was from their news on it broke from a website called like Omega Underground or something like that, which from time to time does pop up with like some interesting tidbits of news.
Yeah, but there
But
was no like reference, right? Like nobody was quoted. Like I looked at the Omega Underground thing and it was just them saying like, "Oh, this is happening," not like this person said it was happening or that, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I didn't see any confirmation that it's real.
yeah, and that's what makes it all so weird because like there's been no like, hey, it's official. Vin Diesel's been cast. There's been zero casting news. I guess they still have Dave Wilson to direct it, who hasn't directed a film as far as I know. Um, and
Yeah, I also feel like
I
you
would assume
can't
this
really.
Tiger script, hopefully.
Well, that was what was in that article was that it was going to be Heiser's script, but the thing is, um, I would assume that if they're doing a Bloodshot movie, yes, Bloodshot will be in it, but they're probably going to be other characters. Uh, I don't know. Maybe that's crazy conspiracy theory, but I'm guessing there's going to be more than one character if there is a movie, and
Yeah, so
the fact
normally,
that
if you look at like the Marvel movies, the Marvel movies will be like, hey, Chadwick Boseman will be Black Panther, and then they're like, you know what? Now Michael B. Jordan's going to be Killmonger, and hey, this person's going to be this person, and this person, and this person, and this person. You usually get with any of these movies, even like fucking Ant-Man, you got like three or four big casting tidbits, of like people who are going to be in the movie. And with this, it's just like we haven't even gotten Bloodshot. So it's like, do you take this article, even though it's on CBR, who's very respectable, do you sit there and you say, oh, okay, like we got to believe that because they said it, or do you just have to say like, wait a minute, like no one's even been like officially cast? Because that's the thing, no one has been officially cast as far as I can tell. There's no like supporting cast that we've seen. Nothing. So
yeah, I mean, not even Vin Diesel has been announced as officially cast yet.
no.
That article is like the first thing that's been like, oh, it's definitely Vin Diesel, but how do we
Let me ask.
know?
Let me ask you this question: since we're talking yet again about movies, would you rather see a Bloodshot movie where it's Ray Garrison or whomever they choose to be as Bloodshot? Whatever character from the past or present, and it's an origin story where he eventually becomes Bloodshot, and at the very end, whoops ass on a bunch of people. Or would you like it to be more like the 2012 launch where Bloodshot is already established, he's going on missions and kicking ass the entire time in the movie?
I would much rather we get the B option there. I would rather it be more like the 2012 Dwayne Straczynski comic arc.
Exactly. That's how I feel too, where we don't have to sit there and wade through an origin. How much of an origin do you really need? You can brief me through that in the credits. Just get me to the character, get me to the action. And that's one thing I thought that even though like Black Panther was established in Captain America Civil War a little bit, the Black Panther movie wasn't an origin story. It wasn't like here's how he came to be, here's all this stuff. Like he was just Black Panther, you know? And I kind of think like give me that with Bloodshot. Give me that with any of this stuff, really, you know, like you don't have to tell an origin to get your characters going. You can explain things along the way for the people who are watching it to pick up on, and that's usually good enough, you know. I mean, you don't need to have it's like how like Batman and Spider-Man when they make new movies, they're always like, well, let us tell you about how Batman happened or how Spider-Man happened. Nope, we're good, man. Like that's common knowledge, man. Like anybody who's watching it, not even in the comic book community, but people outside the community, they know that shit. There's Wikipedia, you know. There's websites you can go to figure this stuff out. You know, like you don't have to slow it down, dumb it down a little bit, just like so every single thing like is clear to everybody. Like, just give me the movie, like, and give me the action right away.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be spoon fed to us. Um,
Yeah,
so no, I definitely would prefer that we get Bloodshot already going on missions and, being Bloodshot. I think that would be way better than, yeah, a movie about Ray Garrison turning into Bloodshot. I don't think that that would be, I mean, that could be good. I'm not saying that you couldn't make a good movie like that. That just wouldn't be my preference. I would rather we get,
yeah, and
Bloodshot the whole time.
someone could make the movie and be like, well, here's a guy who's a soldier, or if you go back to like the Angelo Mortelli route, here's a mob guy, and then they're killed and they're taken by this program and turned into the ultimate killing machine, and then chaos ensues. But I just think, man, they do a lot of origin stories in comics and comic book movies right now, and let's just move past that. Like look at Deadpool. Deadpool didn't give us the origin. It was just like balls to
Yeah,
the wall
dude.
violence. Not in the first movie, really.
Yeah,
You got
Tip.
to. I mean, oh, that's right, you did, but like it was done really well. And it
Yeah, it
wasn't the
wasn't
whole
done as
movie.
like the
The
main
whole
focus
movie
of the
wasn't
movie.
an origin story, though.
Right. The origin story was in the movie, though.
Yeah, it was in the movie, but it wasn't like the whole movie where like at the very
Right.
end of it, he's like, "I am now Deadpool." It was like a quarter of the movie.
Well, and if they follow that 2012 way of approaching Bloodshot, you don't even know his origin, so you don't have to put in or like, you know what I mean? Like that wouldn't even have to be in the movie. You could just have him already be Bloodshot and have him broken out of the Bloodshot program from PRS and just go from there. Like it doesn't have to be. I don't know, but I mean, we could speculate all day, right? Like, I mean, it could.
All
There's a million different ways that we could approach it.
all night, let's speculate.
Let's just speculate about the Bloodshot movie that may or may not be happening.
Yeah, ever.
I just, uh, what? Tor's got some comment about Omen not detecting Bloodshot Aqua or Bloodhound, or oh, I bet he meant Squad. They weren't detecting the Bloodshot Squad or Bloodhound, but could detect Bloodshot and Jesse. I don't know. I mean, eh. I'm not that worried about it. I don't know.
No, I think that's an interesting way, but I mean, like, there's not enough to go off of to know whether they can detect all that kind of stuff.
Well, they said they turned everything off, but oh, I think that it was kind of explained in this most recent issue of Bloodshot Salvation, um, because they turned Ray back on, right? Um, so, um, yeah, they turned Ray back on, right? Gate was able to turn Ray back on and, kind of liberate his nanites from the Omen system. And there's no reason that they wouldn't have already done that with the rest of the Bloodshot squad, Bloodhound,
Not only
everybody
that,
else.
but I mean, like, you could assume, although I mean, there's really no knowledge of like what really goes into the nanites, but like, like Viet Man and Tank Man, all those guys might be running off a different mode or module of nanite that
Well,
they
no, but
might
they
not
were
be.
all upgraded by PRS, right? And Omen would have all the PRS files.
Well, that's true. I mean, they're all on that island for who knows how
Right, that's
long.
what I'm saying, is that Omen would have all the files from that island. I just think that Gate, in the same way that they were able to reactivate Ray and kind of liberate him from Omen's control, I think they would have been able to do that with the rest of the Bloodshot squad. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't seem inconsistent to me. Um, but the other news that we were going to talk about um, is the fact that they finally announced Joshua Dysart is going to be doing another book. What is it? The Life and Death of Toyo Harada?
Yeah, coming out I think in like 2019. So like in typical like Valiant fashion, they announce a book that's going to come out a year later, kind of like how they do, But that's what happened last year. Not a full year, but like last year when I went to Emerald City, they announced Bloodshot Salvation, which came out about 7 or so months later. And so I mean, like yeah, like the life and death of Toyo Harada. Not a whole lot to go off of. Basically, just follows up whatever happened with Imperium. And about time, I mean, we've had like 2 years of the main villain of the Valiant universe just kind of MIA. And you kind of think with like the things that he's doing and the kind of attention that Toyo brings to himself that something would happen along the way in like the last 2 years that would make you say, "Oh, that's where he's been. That's what he's doing." Like, there's nothing really.
Yeah, I really would wish that we would have gotten more of him, and I also wish that we were getting whatever whatever this is that's because I'm assuming this is going to be Josh Dysart kind of capping off his run because Imperium kind of ended without a satisfying ending. So feel like
Weird way to
it's
stop the book.
reasonable, huh?
It's kind of a weird way to just stop the book, just
Yeah,
like yeah.
it makes sense that this is going to kind of cap off his run from all of Harbinger through Imperium. But I wish that we were getting this before Harbinger Wars 2 so that we could kind of go into Harbinger Wars 2 with a fresh view of Harada and not still feel like Harada is in this weird, nebulous, we don't really know what's going on and how is this going to affect that kind of state, right? Because I do think that having Harbinger Wars 2 without Harada involved would be kind of weird.
Well, it just depends on what the story ends up being. I think like I guess we just have to see, But yeah, I mean, like the thing is, like he's the main psyop, like doing something with the harbingers and all that stuff, with the renegades and all the other psyops. He'd have to have some kind of like presence, but I guess not. I just kind of hope that when this is all said and done, that like it kind of makes it so that someone else can maybe use the character again because he hasn't been used since like I mean we really haven't seen like a Harada story since Dysart had him in Imperium. So it just makes sense at some point that maybe this is just like Dysart's uh, finishing touch on the character, if you will. Maybe I don't know, but it just seems like no one else has been able to use the character really. So if there's things that could happen with the character, he's a very popular character. He's definitely one that kind of is a villain, but like a noble villain. It'd just be nice to see more of him, I guess. Is my whole point to this ramble. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Looking forward. It's not going to be for another year.
yeah.
It's got awesome
Yeah.
art.
Obviously there's the speculation that part of why this is being announced so far out is to keep hardcore, longtime fans around for another year. I doubt that that's the plan. I doubt that's the case personally. But it is nice as a fan to know that something like that is still coming. Um,
Oh, I know.
and I don't know. I mean, we don't know what DMG Run Valiant is going to be like. It's going to be next year before we really get to see post Dinesh comics, right? Like it's going to be a while, I think. Um, but yeah, I think that Harada is probably going to be involved in Harbinger Wars 2. And like I was saying before, I kind of wish that Dysart had had a chance to cap off his run before we get into that so we can kind of have a new direction for the character and not feel like we're still in this weird limbo with him.
Yeah, one thing that's pretty neat about the whole life and death of Toyo Harada is Dice Heart gets like a really great group of artists for the book.
Yeah,
So it's like
absolutely.
Matthew and La Rosa and Swayan, and I think covers are by Butch Guys. So like, I mean, it's just gonna be like awesome looking. and all the preview art they've shown is just so crazy good. Lots of stuff that like went back from when like Toyo was a kid, when the bomb hits, and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, it just looks really neat. Um, really excited for it. You know, I mean, like, we were pretty early on the podcast like 2 years ago when like Dice Heart sent us a message saying that like it was right after we did the episode about issue 16 of Imperium, saying like I got something planned, something will happen, and I know that even I was just like, holy shit, man! Like last year I thought if they don't announce it this year, it's probably never happening. Like at some point they probably have to move on, but I'm glad it's happening. I do like his work a lot. Um, just it's just kind of nice to see Harada again eventually. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about how. I don't know. I feel like if people are happy that this was announced, then people should be happy that DMG announced it. I don't think that it should just be like, if it's negative, it's DMG. If it's positive, well, then it's because of Dinesh and Valiant. Like, I don't know, like how long it takes for like a guy like Abraham Reisman who wrote the story about this for Vulture to do his piece, interviewing Dice Art about it and everything, getting preview art. But like, I just think like you can give credit to like DMG. You don't have to only be negative about it. Like as far as like other fans that want to be like, this is only because of like unhappy fans. Like, I don't know. I think that's bullshit. That's just my opinion of it. Like, don't be fair weather because that's what I see it as, just being fair weather.
Yeah, I think that there's some of that in the fan base.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we've read so much about it already, but still, I just think be happy. Just be happy. It's gonna happen. That
um,
story. That story probably breaks even if Dinesh is there, though. I think.
right. Well, and I mean, Dice Art basic was pretty clear that this was not something that DMG put together. This was, something that had happened under Dinesh's leadership and just was finally now being announced. So I'm not going to give DMG a ton of credit for it, but I'm also not going to pretend that that they deserve no credit or that they have no involvement because obviously they could have just completely put this book on the back burner and never released it,
Yeah,
because they never announced it, right? They could have just done nothing with it. They didn't have to, but they're still going to put it out, and hopefully that means that the rest of the great comics that have already been planned are going to come, and um, I just really hope that we continue getting good comics as next year and the year after come through.
I hope now we can get a goddamn Imperium hardcover finally. That would be pretty great. You know,
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't
yeah.
know. I
Even
wouldn't buy
even if
it, but
next year, even if it's next year, throw that Toyo Harada mini on there, make it like a 22 issue hardcover. Fuck up, people will buy the shit out of that thing. But I just I would like to see that because I would like to see everything eventually in hardcover, even the shitty books. Not saying that Imperium shitty, but like I'd buy like Eternal Warrior that first 8 issues in the mini, or
are you
I'd
gonna
buy
buy a
that.
Dead Drop hardcover?
I bought the trade. I don't think it's shitty though. I like. I mean, I like Dead Drop. I'm not one of the fans that try to like.
So you would buy the hardcover, is what you're saying?
Yeah, if Valiant makes a hardcover or something, I buy it. But I'm also not one of those fans that's looking to like scare away like Valiant sales on that book. Like some people are, where it's like anytime anyone asks about, they're like, "No, stay away, don't buy it, fuck off, go buy like something else." Like, fuck, buy it, read it, find out for yourself, man. Be an adult, make your own decisions.
Yeah, I don't know. I never finished that book. Dead Drop.
Not that bad, man.
I couldn't do it. Um, do we have any other news? I think that was really all the news that came out. Um,
The only other thing I saw that came out today was that they announced that Doug Braithwaite was going to hop on Bloodshot Salvation for issue 10 when they start the Book of Revelation arc,
right
where
on.
and it's going to be the Bloodshot 4001 coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to
So
be awesome. 4001 Bloodshot was cool as hell. So I'm definitely, I know they've been saying for a while that he was going to show up in Bloodshot Salvation. So I'm really stoked that he's going to get used.
yeah, and I think like I liked Doug Braithwaite's art on that one shot that featured the 4001 Bloodshot, and I'm really hoping that when that happens, they use it. They use that opportunity to like maybe showcase or bring back in someone from the fold of that 4001. Maybe we see Rye or War Mother or Old Ascalon, something from like that timeline, just because I do think I've always said it on here, like it's just untapped. There's a ton of potential with it. They need to do something with the 4001 properties. Just bad as fuck.
I'm just happy that we have um 4001 Bloodshot. I mean, I'm not worried about whether, it'd be cool to get more stuff from the 4001 world, but just the fact that we're getting that Bloodshot again is enough for me to be happy. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm happy with it, but I still think like I just love all the stuff from that. To me, like Rye is just about as perfect a book as can be, and 4001 as an event was pretty good, but I just want to see some more of the pieces from it.
I wasn't a big fan of the 4001 event other than the ride tie-ins. Those books were amazing.
It has some badass
Um,
art, man.
I'd love to see a new writer take over the world of Rye because Matt Kent has done all of that so far. And nothing against
Yeah.
Matt Kent, he's written some great stuff with Rye, but I would love to see, a fresh new take on the characters, especially now that they have this totally new status quo actually being on Earth, because we really haven't seen anything from anybody other than War Mother since the 4001 event ended. So now that we can get into 4002 AD, I think it would be cool to get a new writer in there.
Oh yeah, definitely. But we'll see. Maybe that's the next. Maybe they can have something that gets announced this year on that. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. So do we want to review the book that we have to review?
One book, Exo Manowar 12.
And I don't have a physical copy of it. Do you have a physical copy of it?
No, my kids are super sick, so I didn't have a chance to go to a comic shop this week.
Where are your priorities, man?
Them.
You always got to put comics before kids. You should know this.
Well, I still have my digital copy.
That's true. Um, did everybody in we got some people hanging out in the comment section. Hopefully you guys all read Exo Manowar number 12 because we're about to get into some spoilery
We're
shit.
gonna spoil the fuck out of it for you people.
It's gonna get so fucking spoilery. You
In
were not
fact,
even
just give up on reading, and we'll just tell you about the books every week as it is. Okay?
because I mean our opinions are the best anyway, so that's all you really need to know is what we
I
think about.
I think my opinion is pretty valid.
Oh, we have the valiantest opinions. If you guys didn't know, we had the best. I can't do a Trump voice. If I could do a Trump voice, I would totally do it. We got the best opinions. All right.
Do you have tiny hands?
No, my hands way too big
My
to
opinions
be.
are the best.
Yeah,
Anyway, who
you
cares about
know,
that fucking loser?
we got the greatest opinions of all opinions. So I do want to really say, like, straight up, this art fucking rules, man. I really, really like this artist for this book. I would be very happy to continue getting what's his name, Ryan Bodenheim. I would be
Rainbow.
very happy to have more Ryan Bodenheim on Exo Manowar.
Yeah, I've liked his art so much, and he's doing the pre-order covers on Bloodshot Salvation right now too, which have been all awesome. But yeah, his art looks so cool in this, and I think it's colored really well too. The coloring's top notch on this. I did have one artistic problem with this book though, and I think a lot of people noticed it. In that, I want to say it's on like page 21. Arik gets his hand back. Like there's a part after he gets darted, and he passes out on the ground. You see like a shirtless Arik. His left hand is back, and his right hand has a glove on, which I thought was odd. But I bet Bodenheim probably doesn't have to draw a lot of characters that are missing like a limb or a hand or anything like that. So not gonna give the guy too hard a time on that. Um, as far as the story goes, I thought the story was all right. I kind of feel like the bounty hunters are just gonna get their asses like killed next issue, and then Arik's gonna like peace out on that planet because it just seems like already like one of them just decided to put the armor on and get eaten by it.
That was
And
awesome. I actually really enjoyed that moment.
it was awesome, but it's just like, fuck, man, this is just gonna be like every other. I hope it doesn't end up being like how every villain there isn't any really, except for like Harada and Master Dark are like the only guys out there still. And and somehow Sean Hara gets out of that prison, that little dome thing it's in. I don't understand how that happened yet.
See,
Like, kind
here's
of.
my thoughts about that, right? Because I saw the people bring that up. Um, Shanhara hadn't tried. Like they didn't know for sure that their energy field was enough to hold Shanhara. They just knew Shanhara was staying inside the energy field, but it didn't. Shanhara didn't try to leave that energy field until it was called by Arik, and then it did. Right, it went to him.
Well,
So
we'll see. We'll see if they explain it. But I thought like that's just kind of weird that like in the issue you show us that, or in the previous issue, we were shown that it couldn't happen. Like Arik tried to escape it, couldn't do it, and then all of a sudden now it just is like oozing on to him, and he's back. I mean, cool, whatever. I mean, the book's called Exo Manowar. I expect him to triumph, but at least explain to me how it happens. Sometimes. But
Sean's guessing that Basil, that ginger type thing, released it, which
maybe
is possible.
it is possible. But they were inside that thing when it happened. Like when the one guy tried to wear it. So I don't know. We'll see. As far as everything else goes, like I still think that like the entire like set of politics that are on this planet where everybody's kind of after Arik, are really shaping up for like obviously the reason why he's gonna leave is because nobody wants him there. Like he was wanted when he rose up, and now that he's got power, no one wants him. Um, I don't know. It was an alright issue. I wasn't as impressed with this one though as I had been with like the previous issues like lately.
See, this to me though, like as much as I haven't really been enjoying the EXO title throughout Matt Kent's run, I mean, not that I've hated it or anything, but it just really hasn't been working for me very well. I actually thought that this was one of the better issues of the run. Um, I I actually didn't notice the hand until you just brought it up, Josh, and I'm looking at it on my phone, and yeah, that hand is definitely hanging out there for some reason. Uh, Not really quite sure how that happened. just just for funsies, I guess, like a panel of him having a hand again. I mean,
Maybe he
I
missed
still
it.
like the art, and actually, Jason Falter is saying in um the comments in the live chat right now that he wasn't a big fan of like the panels in this book, and I mean, I can kind of see that a little bit, but honestly, like I feel like the art was good enough that it didn't matter that the panels were a little lackluster. I still
I can
think
see
that it
that.
was really well done.
But I do think like Bodenheim is like an awesome talent for Valiant to keep around. And who colored this one? Do you have it in front of you? I mean, I just thought that whoever colored this, their work really goes well with Bodenheim's pencils.
I honestly am not. I would have to check again back at the beginning of the book, try to see who colored it. Oh, Dollhouse. There's Andrew Dollhouse.
Okay, okay, so yeah,
And he
so
is a
like
good colorist.
yeah, yeah. I just
Although,
think
you
this.
know what though? I miss the days when Brian Reber was coloring almost every book because God, that dude's an amazing colorist. But
Hey,
regardless, yeah, I mean, this was,
can we
huh?
just for a moment though talk about how rad the A cover is for this book? Like the
Oh
pissed off
yeah,
Arik by Lanza.
yeah. LaRosa is
Um,
amazing.
yeah, I
He's the
thought
best.
this. I thought the A cover was just incredible looking on this one, and it just. I mean, like I've liked all of them, but like I thought this one was maybe one of the better ones on the entire series.
I think Sean kind of has a good point. In the live chat, EXO, this whole EXO story is kind of like a side quest. You know, I really, really wish that. Well, I'm glad that EXO's going back to Earth, and I want more of the conflicts that we got from Venditti's run. You know, I thought that the way that he built the character in that was really, really well done. And I mean, as much as I want to let Matt Kent do his own thing, and I want to judge him on what he's trying to do, not how somebody else did it, I still think that it would be nice to get back to Arik on Earth, dealing with his people, dealing with kingdom, and dealing with protecting the planet because that was I mean, some of those arcs from Venditti run, like Exodus, um, there are just a lot of those that had so much weight to them, and they developed the characters so well. And I just feel like we haven't really gotten that from Kent's run, and that's part of what I think has been lacking. Um, for
I can,
me, for me, this is a like I said, probably one of the better issues of Kent's run so far. Um, not been loving the run. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. I think it's pretty strong for how I've been feeling about EXO. So I'm pretty happy with this issue.
so not knowing a thing or two about this issue, this one was a little bit difficult to grade because I'm gonna go in low because I don't know how like all of a sudden this mysterious way that Shanhara gets out and things like that. Like to me, like it was when I was done reading this, I was just like, come on, you gotta explain it. Like everything gets explained. You gotta explain it to me. So I don't know if they're gonna show me something next issue or not. But I'm probably going in like at a 3 on this because it just drove me so fucking crazy that like,
A 3?
yeah, I didn't
Really?
think it was a great issue though, man. I mean, come on, we're getting these guys are just gonna get dispatched like they're nothing. I just didn't think it was that strong of an issue to begin with. But like, I thought that was kind of a weird hole in it where it's like, come on, man, you gotta explain this shit, Matt. You were editorial. When you guys got to get your shit together but I'm hoping this. I am hoping that it finishes stronger on the next issue before we go back to Earth. But
I'm just not really
I honestly think that all these dudes are gonna end up dead.
I don't really I mean, I'm not looking forward to this barbarian arc very much. That's going to be going on during Harbinger Wars 2. I don't really need an entire I don't need an entire arc of Arik back in his Visigoth days. I don't know. That to me isn't all that interesting. I don't know. What do you think?
Um, it just depends on if it's good, because like here's the thing, like if it was Venditti and it was like an issue or two, I would be like, hell yeah, man, because those issues were always awesome, man. Like I seem to remember like the annual that Venditti did had like a really great story about like I think like young Arik, like back in his days, and it was like really good shit. This is the thing that like we haven't really seen yet from Kent. And it's like 4 issues of it, man. Like, uh, we'll just see. I mean, you got to write the shit for the trade a little bit, but 4 issues of like Arik in the past is just a little hard, unless the story's good. I mean, the thing is with a character like him and a character like Galad too, like characters from a different time, there's so much stuff that you can still tell and it can still work towards like their overall story, even if it is set in the past, because there's those giant gaps in like the storytelling. But I'd rather see that more with like Galad, actually. Give me more Galad stories set in the past where like, his involvement in certain wars or things like that or certain events in history. With Galad, I just think like with Arik, I just feel like we've gotten a lot of that already. So we'll just see.
It's going to be really hard for, you know, Kent to write this barbarian arc and get me excited about it. I don't know. It's like,
I
why
hear
is
you.
he writing so much Exo Manowar without the fucking armor? Like, that's pretty much what his entire run has been, is avoiding the armor.
I agree. And it's been something I've been kind of critical about too, because it's like you're not tuning in to read Arik, the dude with one hand. You want to fucking see Exo Manowar, the guy who's in an indestructible suit with
Well, at
like
least in the barbarian arc, he'll have 2 hands.
yeah, you know what I mean though. Like like buying the book, it's like I want to see like the big crazy adventures, and
Yeah, I completely
if you
agree.
can tell the story good enough, I mean, if you can tell the story good enough that it doesn't matter, that's one thing. But it is kind of lackluster to get all this and to kind of feel like you're gonna get Arc back where he needs to be, and then it's like, hey, a 4 issue break from the armor.
Yeah, it's like this has been one big side quest on planet Gorin, and he's finally coming back to Earth, and it's like, well, before we get to the main stuff, let's go on another side quest. It's like,
Well,
seriously, dude.
and you know the thing, it's kind of disappointing about all this too, because I mean we both have been pretty critical about Exo Manowar on this volume. Is that there was a lot of excitement to me about it, where it's Auric in a different setting. It's a different planet. We see different types of people, and you never know what kind of like things interact with his world now. So the world expands at that point, you know. And it's always nice to see different things, new things happen within the Valiant universe. But like, there's nothing really from this that I'm just like, man, keep all these things. Even the bounty hunters who have been like a good threat. I don't know if they're like cool enough that I need to see them in like a year or 2 years. You know, I mean, this like as much as I love like how this works in Eternity and Divinity, but especially Eternity because like it has so many new characters and stuff like that. Like I want to see those characters pop up again. There's not anything from Goran that I'm just like I hope we see Goran again in a couple years. Like you could blow the fucking Ark could blow the planet up and kill everyone on it in like a and I
Yeah,
would probably be like cool.
we've gotten really all the stories we need about Goran, I think. I don't think we really
That
need to go back
that's
to
just
that
how it
point.
should end. It should just end with like Auric basically becoming Lobo and killing off the entire planet. So
Just like, all right, you guys wanted to get rid of me so bad. I'm getting rid of you, bitches.
everyone hates me. Cool. Fucking feel this and laser sword everyone in the head. You know.
You just fucking laser sword chop the planet in half. That'd be pretty
Hey, if
epic.
he kills everyone there, no one's gonna know he did it. So I'm just saying, Auric, kill everyone there.
Just blow it up. Fucking just Invincible. Read all that Invincible. They could fucking do what they did to Viltrum.
Yeah.
Just fucking fly into the center of the planet and explode the whole fucking thing.
Well, it already sounds like in the previous issue 11, that there was like some kind of weird problem with like plates moving underneath the surface anyway. You know, like probably wouldn't
Yeah,
take
fuck
much for
it.
Auric to
Yeah.
do something that destroys the planet.
That probably would be like the most satisfying way to end this. Is for him to just blow the whole thing up, like just be done with it and just go home.
Well, because he's
Like,
already
screw
like
you
kind of a.
guys
I mean,
and get in hand.
I think that I mean, like obviously we looking at the whole thing as at the whole picture, we're like, okay, Arc's the hero. He's just trying to make everyone happy. But on that planet, everybody hates him, and they probably all look at him like as some like oppressive dictator of sorts, you know. So it's like he's already the bad guy to them. He might as well just like go full tilt with it and just murder them all.
Yeah, and as Tor points out, all he really wanted was to farm the land and bang his chick. That's all.
Exactly.
That's all he was looking to do.
Isn't that what every person in this world ever wants? It's just the farm and bang. I mean, come on, man.
Just farming
Let
and
them
banging.
farm.
That's who needs more out of life.
You know, the moral of this is not to fuck with a farmer. That's what I'm saying. You know, is you don't fuck with a farmer.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the bounty hunters blow up the planet. Maybe they'll blow up Gorin. I don't know. I think that blowing up that planet would like to be the most satisfying thing for me, though. Like whoever does it,
It's not gonna happen, you know, but like it would be
you don't
awesome.
know that. Why you
I
gotta
don't.
why you gotta rain on my parade? uh, Plus, then wasn't that the Sean is pointing out that was pretty much the armor hunter's whole thing is that just having the armor was going to make him go around blowing up planets, and even if he doesn't blow it up, like his involvement in getting the planet blown up would kind of make them right and would be
Oh
kind of
yeah.
ironic and funny.
How far away is Goran from Earth? You know, because if a planet,
Oh,
if that planet,
it's about yay far, I think.
oh
It's
okay, that far.
about like
I just
yay.
want to make sure that if it blows up, you know, we don't get like a crater that hits Earth and Mexico City gets wiped out a second time or something like
Again.
that. You know?
Oh, we just rebuilt.
We just put this fucking shit together. Come on, man.
Oh, is he gonna bring um is he gonna bring Basil back with him to hang out with Ginger?
I don't know. He should. That would be interesting, at least, But I'm totally okay with maybe that thing living because I like Ginger. Ginger is so different and unique that I think like the whole concept of it's really cool. So yeah, like I would be cool with that. Like shit, give me a story in an annual or a one shot where he finds a body for it. Like I'd be cool with that too,
Where what?
because that thing's just a head. So like he should find it a
Oh, find a
body.
body. Yeah, or
Make it
it
a
just
body.
comes back and you get a two-headed Ginger.
Oh, that'd be cool. like
And you
the
can
beast.
blow up two cities in Mexico at the same time.
See, and that would be the cool
Oh,
thing with it if they do a new Unity book. You know, Ginger and Basil just hang out with each other the whole time.
so I don't know. People are kind of talking about why did Auric leave Earth?
We're supposed to find
There better
us,
be a good reason, though.
I think, but aren't they giving us that issue? Like either issue 14 or 15 is like the reason. That
Yeah, I
issue
think that that's
13
supposed
wraps
to
up
be issue
the storyline,
14.
and then 14, I think, is the reason why he bailed in the first place.
Yeah, and that's well, 14 is him coming back to Earth, I think, and why he left, and then 15 will give us that blast from the past barbarian arc, and then after that, who knows? Hopefully, something good.
But you know what's neat though is like even though like I know like we complain about it, like I noticed the sales on the book are kind of like just a hair below like 10,000. So I think like this version of Exo Manowar sells pretty decent. You know, like it's kept a pretty consistent following, and a part of that might also have to do with the fact that like they did change the way that they did variants with the book too, where it's just like A, B, and then 1 in 20, 1 in 50 pre-order edition. That's it. Um, you know, so I mean, like I think like the way that the incentives work with it are a little bit different too, but it's kept pretty decent numbers, you know. And I'm hoping that this is one of those books that even though it's only selling like maybe 10,000 copies, it gets them past that issue 25 hump that only EXO previously passed. Just because it'd be kind of nice just to see it keep going. You know, I mean, like I understand like end book when the writer leaves or anything like that, but I don't know. It looks. I'm just happy that the sales are pretty good on it.
Yeah, and I mean, I haven't necessarily been loving this run, but I would definitely prefer it to continue as long as it can. Um,
Well, and I guess like the point that I'm trying to make is like there's no sense to have a character like this caliber just not be published for like 5 months while you decide you're going to reprint or like relaunch.
but that's the same thing with like Gilad. I don't see why Gilad is just sitting on the shelf.
And I agree with that. You know, like we had this conversation a couple months ago where it's just like why have characters that you are invested in and just have them not doing anything. You know, like I think we had this conversation when we had the talk about the anthology issue or whatever it was that fans would write. You know,
Oh,
where
that would be so awesome.
it's like, hey, like you might not be giving this character like a full ongoing series, but like you can devote an issue to a story of Galad because what the hell's Galad doing? Like last we saw him, he was just like a laser mirage in fucking Armstrong's bar. And before that, it's just like his previous series. So he's just such a big part of the universe. Why is he not being used?
Well, and I mean, this argument can be made about a lot of characters. Like Jason is saying, why is Rye sitting on the shelf? And that's a good question.
Yeah.
But if we tell Valiant, okay, just put the books out just so that the characters are on the shelf, then that's asking for lower quality books. And I don't think that
Maybe,
that's
but I bet there's
necessarily the
somebody
answer.
out there who's got that story that like writes pretty good.
I mean,
You
yes,
know,
there's probably somebody out there, but there are 30 other people who are going to pitch stories that maybe sound good and aren't going to be that good. And how do you know for sure which one's the right one? Then you end up, having seven different writers writing a few issues each. Like I like that most of the time Valiant will stick with one writer per volume and have a long-term story from one writer. And I'd like to see that trend continue. So if Rye does come back, which I'd love for Rye to come back, I just would want it to be with a writer who has a long-term plan and can execute it.
yeah,
Um,
but I mean, I'm sure like somebody out there who writes comics probably has that plan. Is kind of what I'm saying. Where
No, I know, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people who could come up with plans for the characters that sound good. I'm sure you could find people that, have ideas for Galad and Rye and if Kindred and Exo, you could find people that would want to do another Exo book. It's just a matter of whether it would actually be executed well enough to be worth doing it, and that's the difference between putting out 6 books a month or 60 books a month. I mean, there are enough characters in the Valiant universe that you could put 20 books out every month, but are they going to be 20 high quality books that will make people think of Valiant as a top tier publisher, or is it just going to be more junk to put on the shelf like a lot of what we get from Dynamite? You know, and is that really the answer? Is Valiant
Oh,
becoming Dynamite really what we want?
well, they'd be better than Dynamite because at least Valiant owns its properties.
Yeah, but
Dynamite,
whether
I
you're
don't know what
licensing the
Dynamite
characters
owns.
or you own them, you still got to write good stories.
Yeah, but they're just renting their properties. I mean, they're just renting all their characters.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
we would all care if they were writing good stories. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, I'm not gonna even try to find out.
uh, it's been a while
So
since I've read something.
I did get caught up on the new Age of Heroes after we talked about it earlier
New
a
Age of
bit.
DC Heroes, y'all. Okay, I don't know
I,
if anybody that's in the live chat watching this right now is reading New Age of DC Heroes. We've been checking a lot of that out. I've been
we've
reading all
talked
of it.
about like every week we've been on since Damage One dropped.
Yeah. So the ones that came out recently were like Damage 2, Silencer 2, and Terrific Spawn.
Yeah, I read all those today.
Um, and yeah, I read all, well, actually I read Damage 2 a while ago, but yeah. Um, I think that they're all really fun. Like Silencer was a little bit weird, and I really don't like John Romita Jr.'s art.
I don't
Um,
think he's doing art like the whole time on this, which is kind of weird. I think maybe in like an issue 3, issue 4 he's done. So he might just be like contributing on the story.
huh.
But I'll tell you what, man, I read Terrifics today, and that book is fucking terrific, man. Like,
It's more
um,
Jeff Lemire, man.
yeah, it's Jeff Lemire, it's Ivan Rice. If you read a lot of like Jeff Johns stuff that he was doing in the like 2000s, mid 2000s, you know his art. It is a beautiful book, really good art, but it's basically the Fantastic Four in the DC universe. Like, I mean, it's all those books are really Marvelized. I almost think, like
Yeah, they're very
Sideways,
much, yeah.
they're very much Marvel character. Damage is totally the fucking Hulk, but in fact, I even think the story in Damaged is very much a Hulk story, where like, like a prominent DC super team is out to stop Damage from damaging shit.
I
And
like I
thankfully,
like that they've got like Damage talking to Elvis while he's himself, and then Elvis talking to Damage while he's Damage. I think that that's
yeah,
cool, and I hope
that
that they play with that.
that's a really cool dynamic for the book. Like I really picked up on it like in the second issue,
Yeah.
and it made me like it a little bit more, because otherwise he is kind of just like the Hulk for like the Hulk for an hour.
I gotta say the other thing though that has me really excited about Damage is that last fucking page from Damage number 2.
With
Uh
Wonder Woman just flying non-coherently through the air.
yeah, dude, and thinking that we're gonna get a Wonder Woman versus Damage fight in the next issue with the way that he just decimated the Suicide Squad, I would
He
love to see him up.
shit out of the Suicide Squad. I
Yeah,
mean,
he did. That was
because like some of those
badass.
characters, I'm not even a fan of like the new Suicide Squad,
Right.
Harley Quinn and Deadshot's cool. He's cool, but I can't stand fucking Harley Quinn. But like they've got Solomon Grundy, who is like a heavy hitter. They got Parasite. These are guys that go up against Superman, and he just treads right through him. So
He blew a hole in that giant lady's hand, whoever the fuck that
gigantic.
was.
He
Yeah.
just kicks himself right through her head.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome. That was so cool. Yeah, I just think that's the thing about these issues is that they've been really fun. I felt like Silencer was really fun in its own way as well. Like it's this kind of like there's a little bit of like spy and espionage. She's trying to keep her family safe, so there's that whole thing going on. But now but then she's also a total badass. Like the whole issue too was her fighting this like group of really crazy 90s style villains, and then at the end she gets into this other huge ass fight, and it just is a lot of fun.
The one only real complaint I have about that book, Silencer, is that I think the character, I mean, I know it's a brand new character, but the brand new character that already needs like a little bit of like a costume tweak, it's
Oh
just
yeah,
kind of like a boring look. But
the
like,
costume was stupid.
but that second issue also ends really awesome, where Silencer goes to talk to her like her old handler to kind of get like a ceasefire, and then all of a sudden, in this neutral zone that they're in to do this fight, he's got all these like guys that are cloaked that are going to take her down, and he's like, I'll give you 5 seconds, to like put your guns away, and she's like, I'll give you 3 before I kill all of you. Like it had a very rad ending, you know. And the thing is, like, I'm a person like who's read comics for like a very long time, like 30 years. And sometimes like I don't get too excited about stuff, you know. I get excited about like stuff that Valiant does, but I don't get a lot of excitement out of like Marvel DC. But all these books that I've read so far, like 5 issues I've read, I've been really excited about like where they're all going. You know,
Yeah.
like they're all pretty fun. And the Terrifics, you know, it's kind of got like a no nonsense start to it where Mr. Terrific, who in my opinion, he's the Reed Richards of the group, not Plastic Man. Plastic Man is more the Johnny
Oh, for
Storm.
sure. Yeah,
But
Mr. Terrific is definitely the brains of the operation.
but he's just written so like intelligent, and he's an intelligent character. He's meant to be intelligent, but like he's just written so like commanding and smart and intelligent. I've always liked Metamorpho. Metamorpho's a great character. Um, I'm gonna forget the girl's name, but she's not. I think she's a new character, but she's a
Linya?
play on a character. She's a play on a character that exists in like the Legion of Superheroes in like the 30th century. But God, it was just such a cool book, man. Like, and the moment when they go through the portal and they're like in Plastic Man's mouth traveling, and they land on like what they think is a planetoid, and it's actually just like the corpse of some gigantic dead space god. Like, it was badass, man. It was like cool little moments like that, you know. And again, if you read like Valiant books, you probably already gonna read that one because it's Jeff Lemire. It's a great book though. I mean, I just feel like all the stuff he does is really like unique and fresh.
Did you read Sideways yet?
No, I didn't get a chance to. I just didn't have time.
Sideways was good too. And then I think Brimstone, Curse of Brimstone is the next one coming. And that's actually a Justin Jordan book, who's another former Valiant creator. And there are quite a few, there's quite a bit of former Valiant talent and current Valiant talent.
Yeah,
With Venditti writing Damage, you've got Lemire writing Terrifics, and I think he's helping on one of the other books, and then Justin Jordan writing Brimstone. Um,
I'm
yeah,
pretty
there's a
sure
lot of,
Dan Abnett worked for Valiant in the '90s, or he worked at Acclaim, one or the other. I can't remember, but
sure.
he's a past Valiant dude too. But I mean,
But
these are fun books, you know, and like it's kind of weird. Where like I thought, like man, like we talk about it like one week, and then like we talked about like the second book when it came out, and then like we were gonna have the conversation about Sideways, and then I still haven't read it. I don't even know where my copy is. So I'll have to read it digitally, I guess. But I'm digging it, man. Like these are fun books. These are way more. I have way more fun reading these books than I do any of the other DC books because I
yeah.
just don't care.
I'm not even reading any other DC books. This is like only stuff from DC I'm buying right now because it's only shit from them that I care about.
I buy Batman every month, and I buy it, and I'm just like, I don't like this Batman,
You
but
like
I've
hate
wanted
read
to use
it?
it. Yeah. I kind of like angry read it, where I'm just like I think like there's like a weird like thing with Tom King where everybody loves Tom King. Like Tom King's so great. He's the new Scott Snyder. No, he's not. I would take
I
Scott
was
Snyder from this book in a heartbeat because like
I
I
was
just
at
don't.
that point with when they were doing Batman and Robin Eternal. I got suckered into buying that, and it was a weekly book, so I was like hate reading that
It's
one
really
every week. And yeah, and then as soon as Rebirth hit, that fucking stupid ass Gotham and Gotham Girl thing, like God, that book got so stupid right away.
the first year of Batman is really bad, and then it's okay. I mean, I don't really hate it too much. Like I like the button, but I think like the war of jokes and riddles, like the Joker or Riddler storyline, is the most overrated thing I've ever read. I didn't think it was great. People online talk about it like it's the next Court of Owls storyline, which no. But and I don't care too
Yeah,
much about the whole like Batman Catwoman dynamic. Like
yeah, I don't
I
give
don't.
a shit about that. Like Batman does not need to be married. I don't know, man.
I just think it's weird, you know, to me. And then they're going on dates with Superman and Lois Lane. It's like, oh, Catwoman's so cool that she can know so many secrets now of the DCU. Like I don't know. But you know, I read the Flash, and the Flash is like boring too. I bought them both. But you know what? Actually, there is one book that's good. I do like Deathstroke. Deathstroke's pretty solid.
Yeah, I've
That
actually thought about
reads.
picking that one up because it's
There's a
Christopher Priest writing that, another Valiant alumni.
Yeah, there's a storyline coming up where him and Batman are going to fight, and I was kind of like a little bit like comic book kid giddy about like, ooh, I can't wait to see it, because I think they've only fought once and Deathstroke whooped him. So like I kind of like to see how it is now that like Batman's been kind of like evolved by the writers over the years since then, and he's the Bat God and he can do fucking anything. So it's like kind of curious to see how like a round two with Deathstroke goes.
But speaking of things coming up, next week we're gonna get another one issue week, which is better than a zero issue week. We're getting Bloodshot Salvation 7, which Josh has already read. I haven't read that one yet. I'll read it soon. Don't even start. I don't want to hear it. We're gonna get somebody to come on and replace Josh next week, so I don't have to listen to him
Nope.
talk about.
I can't wait to be on this episode. I'm fucking so excited.
Oh,
If you thought I won't even say anything. We'll save it
yeah,
all. We'll
yeah.
save
You're not allowed to say anything right now. And then we're actually getting 2 trades next week. The first volume of Bloodshot Salvation, and then also that War Mother trade is going to be coming out. So that'll be cool. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, the no art book, that Bloodshot Salvation 7. I don't know, man. I think it's a cool idea, and
Well,
whether it works or not,
let's just wait until next week.
okay, fine. We'll wait till next week and we'll talk about. Okay, the only thing I want to say about it is it might not work. It might be stupid, but I just, you know what, zip it. It might not work. It might be stupid, but I like that Lemire and Valiant are taking risks and trying new things and not just getting complacent and lazy. So that's my thought on it. I'll read it and see if it's any good, and we'll talk about it next week. Um, yeah, zip it. We'll just end there. Thanks everybody for watching and listening and having fun with us and talking about all the stuff that you hate and listening to us jibber jabber all day about DC New Age of Heroes or whatever.
This is turning into like the Get DC New Age of Heroes Valiant cast.
Get New Age of Heroes, yeah. But thanks again, everybody, for hanging out with us. Signing off, I'm Eric Baumgard.
I'm Josh Rathman.
And I hope you all have a good week. Stay valiant and stay New Age of DC Heroes.